Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any other videos that I have posted in the past. If you have any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Now, the goal of my fast cooking system is to make home cooking spontaneous and intuitive. And one way to achieve this is use template-based cooking. Now, template-based cooking based on the idea is that you use a single template and to create multiple versions of this particular template. And the template that I'm going to use this dish is called a scramlette. A scramlette is a combination between a scrambled egg and an omelette. It is a very simple template, but it has almost infinite variations. I'm not going to cook this dish in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. I'm going to start out with about 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. I use canola oil, and you can use any oil that you would like. I'm going to heat up the oil until it starts to smoke gently. And this is the way how I'm going to season my stainless steel wok to create a non-stick cook surface. This method works extremely well, and this is very simple. And each time I will season the wok before I start. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to cook some salmon, because this scramblette will contain salmon. Now, the reason I cook the salmon first is based on the idea which known as combinatorial stir frying. In this approach is that you cook different ingredients separately depending on the amount of time that are required to cook them. Now, salmon takes a bit longer to cook, so I do not want to cook them with the egg. But if I cook them in advance, this will allow me to combine them together later. Now, while I'm cooking the salmon, it is very convenient to cook some bacon. Now, this dish is constructed in such a way is to meet the preference of my wife's taste. She loves salmon, but at the same time, she also enjoys bacon. But as you can see in here, I only use a very small amount of bacon. Well, for one reason is that a bacon contains a lot of fat, so it's high in calorie. But if I only use a small amount of it, it will provide better flavor for the dish. And this is, I would call it moderation. You can eat almost anything you want if you treat it as a way to flavor the dish rather than use the main ingredients. And here, I probably put in about maybe a little bit less than 1 strip of bacon. Now, as you can see that the bacon and the salmon probably fry in about the same manner. I turn the bacon over to fry the other side. The salmon is still being fried. Now, the reason I fry the salmon this way because I want to char the skin of the salmon. Most of the time, people do not eat the skin of the salmon because it tends to be quite oily. But using this method, by charring the skin of the salmon, it gives it a crispy texture. Actually, this turned out to be the best part of the salmon, according to my wife. Now, I have never been a great salmon lover, but using this method, I really enjoy the salmon because it provides the salmon a crispy texture and give it great flavor. And by cutting the salmon into small pieces and cook them separately, this allows you to cook salmon much faster than if you cook it the other way. This is truly a method allow you to create much better control of the doneness of the salmon. And in fact, I find that using this method, the salmons come up much better if I cook them in a single piece, which what I used to do. The problem is that when you cook the salmon in a single piece, the salmons have different thickness according to the salmon portion, so some part of it will be overcooked while the other part of it will be undercooked. In this case, you can treat each piece of the salmon separately and you can cook them accordingly. Now, by now, the bacon is pretty much done. I'm going to remove the bacon and set them aside. I'm going to finish cooking the salmon, which takes a little bit longer to cook. As you can see, the skin of the salmon has a very nice char, and that's going to give the salmon great flavor. If you have never tried this method before, you should try it because it's not only more efficient, but it creates better flavor. My wife loves salmon. And before I cook the salmon this way, she used to order salmon out all the time, but she never quite satisfied with what she gets. And after I cooked the salmon with this approach, she enjoyed it so much. In fact, now she never orders salmon out in a restaurant, although we now hardly eat out in a restaurant anymore because I feel that I can cook better than what they can do in a restaurant. Okay, now the salmon is done. The next step is that I'm going to cook the egg. Now the reason I cook the egg separately is because this dish, the egg scramlette, it takes only a matter of several minutes to cook. If I cook the egg together with the salmon as well as the bacon, I will never be able to cook it done. And next, I'm going to put some minced ginger. Now you will say, why would you put minced ginger in there? Well, because my wife loves ginger.
Yep, already.
Now the egg of this particular dish comes from the egg from my neighbor. And his grandson raised chicken, and they have just farm-raised eggs. I'm going to season the egg first with some of my basic seasoning mix. This is probably the only way I'm going to season the dish. And in addition, the bacon will also provide great flavor to the dish. Okay, now the egg is almost about 50% done. As you can see, it cooks really quickly. The next thing I'm going to do is to add the vegetable. And in this case, I contain chopped up vegetables of some bitter melon, which I used in a previous video. I also have some purple cabbage together with some portobello mushroom and color bell pepper. Now, the vegetables are all cut into small pieces because it will fit better with the egg. As you can see in here, the reason they call it scrambled because I'm scramble the egg at the same time by folding it over on top of each other. And then now at this point, I add the salmon. I chop up the salmon into smaller pieces so it will fit better with the egg. Now the reason that I want to fold the egg because I want to maintain the texture of the egg because I do not want to scramble it. And then last step is that I'm going to add the bacon to the wok. Okay. Now the dish is almost done. As you can see, the scramblette takes very little time to cook. If I have tried to cook the scramblette together with the salmon and the omelette, there never will be enough time to cook both of them. And this, referred to as combinatorial cooking technique, will allow you to control the texture of each ingredient. So instead of using salmon, I could have used other protein in the same manner. For example, I could cook chicken separately and then mix it together with the egg, or I can cook shrimp, or I can cook almost anything that I want that will allow me to achieve the proper doneness as well as the texture that I want. This dish is going to be a dish that will provide for both my wife and I for dinner. And the reason I cook this dish is because, first of all, my wife has asked for some egg. She loved the egg cooked in this particular manner. And she also enjoys salmon. And I happen to have some salmon left from a portion of salmon that I bought several days ago. I finished the other two, and this is the last portion. So I decided that she loves salmon. I'm going to combine the salmon together with the egg. And then she also asked for bacons. So I add just a few strips of bacon. But surprisingly, just that small amount of bacon will really help to make the dish more interesting. And last but not the least, to garnish the dish, I'm going to add some scallion. This scallion has been cut into strips to give it a great onion flavor. And then I'm also going to add a few cherry tomatoes that I have in the refrigerator. So together, this dish takes about 7 to 8 minutes to cook. It's a complex dish, have many different ingredients in it, but the key is that the dish is designed specifically to satisfy my wife's flavor preference. Last but not the least, I garnish it with a little bit of oyster sauce. So it's a very lightly flavored dish. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine, so you can make home cooking as a viable alternative to fast and ultra-processed food. With home cooking, you have much greater control of the calorie uptake as well as the nutritional value of the food that you eat. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.